First of all, foundationally, know who you're taking advice from. Communication is an art. You're a married woman. You're coming here. Like, why are you a married woman here? I'm like, excuse you, you're a married man too.
I party for two.
Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is A-Ajayi if you're new here, and if you're not, welcome back. Today's video I have my lovely sister with me here today.
Hi,
we're
guys.
talking about the people's favorite topic, love, right? And we're going to be reacting in that context. We're going to be reacting to a new Christian movie, and it is titled Love in the Guest Room. So we had a sister night on Monday evening, and we were like, okay, let's watch a movie. And then my sister recommended this movie, Love in the Guest Room by the Winlows, and I was like, okay. I was very open to watching the movie, and we're just watching it, and then we'll be pausing, talking about it, like, why did they do this, why is this going on, why is this going on, why is this going on. So we're pausing, and then she was like, you know what, you should probably film a reaction for this. And I was like, okay, can you join me in reacting to the movie? And that's how we're here today. Like, the movie was really well worth like our time. Like, I really loved it. I loved it so much. So my sister here is going to be introducing the movie for us, what the movie is about and things like that.
Yeah, so like based on what I watched, I don't know what they think it is, but it's basically just, I think the movies get to show the realities of that, especially for Nigerian couples, but I think can also be like applied generally. Just like show the realities that happen as newlyweds, when like, and how communication and distraction plays a role in, you know, how your romance, intimacy, you know, the love and like the bond of a marriage can play out. So like that's really what the movie is about, and how like that's essentially what the movie is about, like how communication and then like distractions and conflict and all these things play a role in how your marriage will come about, and basically like the importance of communication, not to give too much away.
Yeah, because also, as much as we'll be reacting, I really believe that if you come across this video, you are supposed to watch it. And I would encourage everyone to watch the movie.
Honestly, even watch it first before you watch the reaction.
And I feel like if you're somebody who is currently married or you desire marriage, you should watch that. Even if not, I still think you should, because it really touches on an important subject in relationships that I think a lot of us know, but it was really good to see it's being visualized, like how the danger of communication. I even learned something from it. It wasn't I think I'm going to like, you know, head into like the things that I really loved about the movie. And I was going to start from cinematography, but let me actually start from where I just ended. It wasn't your typical Christian or even love movie. It wasn't cliche. It was a new, fresh storyline that we knew that, okay, this is about love, relationship, and you know how to handle it, go about it and stuff. But it was just, there was a freshness to it, you know, that, you know, kept me glued like that. And also like as a Nigerian Christian movie, I'm going to emphasize on that.
The context.
I love that
like our reviews are so high. Like we have to think of the context, because an American can watch it and think like, oh, this is low budget. No, the context is for a Nigerian Christian industry. They did very well in you know how it looks, the aesthetics, the investment, the storyline, like their makeup, their hair, the costume.
I think we're already going down into everything we liked. Yes, it was beautiful. Really the housing, because normally Nigerian Christian movies, you know, I understand the modesty parts to Christianity.
We're talking about how like they can make it like a small parlor, like not really decorative.
Like, it was visually appealing, basically.
That's not how some real Christians live.
Yes. So it was very like, it was a very good balance of modest but also very like visually appealing. I think that's the word. I love that. Maybe because I'm a visual person.
It looked like it was made in 2024, because I have an issue with Nigerian movies, Nigerian Christian movies, how sometimes it looks like, because for me, I can't watch a movie if it's so old. Like, it has to look like it was made
Like that part will even keep you interested.
Another thing I liked about the movie was like the script. Like just like how you were saying, it was a breath of fresh air when it comes to Nigerian Christian movies. Like with the love thing, it was a breath of fresh air in terms of like it was an intelligent script. And I don't mean the whole story, because the whole story has probably been told, like about the importance of communication and how people fight in marriage. That's probably been told already. I mean like how, you know, even the little she's scared, or the little she had to wash her face, or the little like somebody broke glass, or the little like how they even did mini I'm giving you a book, go and watch it first. Or little like how they had to do mini Jackie Chan in the middle of the night, came out scared, saw the dogs, like all of those little scripts made it like that's what you mean.
The build up,
wow, I would never have even expected the end. How I watched the beginning, that is how it was the breath of
oh, bravo! My sister really got it.
It was really
you actually
compared to how like Nigeria,
they were phenomenal.
We are speaking generally, and we realize that typically with typical Nollywood movies, I don't want to say Nigerian, typical Nollywood Christian movies, you might be able to guess the end. But this one, I don't think you'll be able to guess
it was an inductive movie. Like it built like you will know the end from the beginning. It built up.
It has low budget actors.
It was not low. No,
it was obvious for the script. And no, it was not like.
And from the beginning, we're just going to tell you, I honestly will give it a 10 over 10.
Yeah, I'll give it a 9.5.
You're keeping to 0.5 for yourself. So, like to the main movie itself and reacting to the scenes in it. The movie starts off with like the guy brings the lady home. What's his name? Mr. Gideon. Mr. Gideon brings home. What's her name again?
I don't remember her name.
And they get home and then they are talking
and then she basically is now curious, like, okay, you said we're supposed to meet here, you insisted on us meeting in your home, like, why are we here? And then he now starts complimenting her. And I think looking back, like he starts commenting, like, oh,
not even looking back. While we're watching the movie, we're like,
I'm not sure.
Why are you? Why are you blushing?
Yeah, from
it was not like a white blush show, but it was like
he was complimenting her, looking at her with her side eye. I was also like from the beginning already judging that like they've come again about cheating and all those so two married people that so I think at that point I didn't think anything of it. But knowing from the beginning, I don't know if I should not react from the beginning, but knowing from the ending rather.
It's confusing. How do we start? How do we react? I think let's react as how people follow through with the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll point out from that scene was like her naivety, because he complimented her and then she was not like, she now blushed and I'm like and your wedding ring is so big, it's in front of you cannot even miss it. And then married man is complimenting you, and it's also act a little bit oblivious, like, Mr. Gideon, you mentioned that we're supposed to meet here, why are we here? I'm like, are you silly?
Why did you even follow into the house? But I would say, like, even from the beginning, I did find a sense of like, I thought he was our boss. So I thought like I thought, okay, this is probably someone she highly respects. So it didn't seem fake, but it also seemed like, are you slow?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. She seemed oblivious. So that's what it was like. Why are you? Yeah. And I think some people are genuine like that. So it's like, why are you being like, obviously this guy is trying to hit on you. It's clearly obvious. He even made it obvious. So you are so beautiful. And then she now said, okay. Then when he don't now answer, I don't want to say this. Yeah. There's not a point where she wanted to even watch TV. Like, let us watch TV. I'm like, why are the two of you watching TV? And you still know why you're here. I mean, or rather, the meeting has not started. Yeah. Then now when his wife now arrives,
I think at that
point, the question.
I think at that point, right, where it's like, let's go. My wife must not see you, and then she's like, but we're not doing anything now.
Like, okay.
I'm like, no, like, I don't even know.
Like, there's a lesson to learn there. Like, don't put yourself in awkward situations and think that it's not.
Don't gaslight yourself.
Exactly.
Like, no, you're not overthinking it. You're not doing anything wrong, and you can leave like respectfully.
You don't that part.
Yes.
And then what I'm actually saying is that like don't put yourself in awkward situations and think that you will not look awkward. Just like you are in a situation where people around you are stealing, don't now think you will not look like a thief. So you think you're not doing anything wrong, but the situation looks like that. So don't put yourself in that situation in the first place.
Like from the first minute she should have. But then again, to be fair, right, it seemed as though they had just been at home for like 10 minutes. And
but like comfortable, you want to put on the TV. Like
it was he now said Mrs. Gideon has traveled.
He has gone on
she has gone on assignment. So I think it was when like Mrs. Gideon came that, and then he's like, okay, let's pack the bag, let me take your bag, let's go to the guest room to hide you or something funny like that. Then she's like, but why? Where are we going? I didn't do anything wrong. And you two are following me. No, go. But then again, like I said, I did feel like at the same time, even in the movie, I felt like, okay, there must be a form of reverence where maybe she doesn't want to lose her job.
Okay, so now on to Mrs. Gideon. So she now arrives and her husband has gone upstairs, hid his guest, and just acting like everything is cool. And then she arrives and lo and behold, she comes with a man. And I'm just like, interesting. You are cheating, your husband is cheating. I think that's where I actually started to get
interested in the movie. Yes.
I've never seen this before.
And then I think at that time in the movie, I'm like, how dumb are both of them?
Oh, yes. I remember when we were watching, Jenny mentioned that, like, okay, so the two of them thought the two of them were going to be away, and then use the house as a cheating spot. It was very intriguing. It was very like, how did they miss each other? Because anyway, she comes with the guest, and then he's a man. And I think at this scene, what stood out to me was how the man thought that. She was like, oh, Mrs. Gideon, you went to my party. Yes, you're in my party. And then I love, and then the real the wife is obviously husband and wife are Reverend and Pastor and Willie and Ohis.
The windows.
And I like Pastor and Willie, like how she does. She's like, yeah, a party for two. And this guy also has a wedding. So I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Why you deciding to cheat with my other man?
I think at that point for me, I figured that okay, this movie is probably going to talk about how like both marriages were suffering. And
I don't even know if they talked about both marriages.
No. That was my thoughts at that point of the movie. Like whoever she was cheating with, he had an issue. Like she would cheat with, had an issue with his marriage. I thought she and her husband had an issue in their marriage.
I definitely did.
Because she went to hide him in the guest. I thought it was a different room. I didn't know it was the same room, but maybe I missed that part. But they ended up. So basically, where the husband had put the wife is also where the wife had put her own guests.
We now have Mr. Gideon come downstairs, and when she she broke glass because she got startled by his voice, and then had to rush and put her guest in a room. So that's when Mr. Gideon now came to come and help his wife, and then I think they were conversing when he was trying to help her. And like, oh, honey, you don't have to help me. Then I want to help you. Now say why? I miss you. I don't want to leave you. So I'm like, okay, so you go. Honestly, at that point, I was even more confused. I was like, this is a really interesting movie. So they feel like they have a good marriage, but then they feel the need
they need to step out of their marriage.
So I was like, okay, this is a very interesting movie about to each other. You might not touch each other's needs, but like you are doing other stuff. So that was very interesting pretense. So after that, like whole scenario of them, like I miss you.
Not the scenario.
I miss you. Oh, I don't want you to leave my side. At that point, I was also like, okay, clearly you are Mr. Gideon is one of those men that would do nice to their husband in the house, to their wives in the house, and they now go outside and cheat. But
it didn't seem unrealistic. It just, to me, I was like, oh wow, they're probably showing the reality of how cheating happens. That sometimes it's not always.
It's not as if anything bad is happening. That's what I thought. Like, meanwhile, in the guest room, because she sneezes, the guests eventually meet each other, and then we now they now play out, and then so when he first opened the door to the bathroom, there was also like a whole drama thing, slow-mo, which was also really nice, keeping us like, for me in the moment, because I was eating with food, it was like, okay, like what is going on here, but I think he now opens the door to the bathroom because he was in the room, and now that's when I now realized that, oh, they put them in the same guest room.
Yes.
And then eventually we now realize that like they are actually a couple. The people in the guest room were a couple. And I was like, interesting.
I think for me at that point, when they realized they were a couple, what was very fascinating to me is how like he was like, you a married woman, you're coming here, like, why are you a married woman here? I'm like, excuse you, you're a married man too.
But that's where I was not like, the voice that she didn't have from the beginning, she had it to her husband, like, she kind of...
No, but that makes sense now. The person you are closest to, you know how to communicate better, even though the movie talks about lack of ineffective communication. But, like, whether it is bad communication or not, you just know how to stand up for yourself better. And I like when she was like, you, what are you doing here? You know, say, oh, she told me there's a party. Excuse you, she told you there's a party and you came here for the party.
The part that I mentioned in the beginning is how not to mention that. Oh, so you followed him to his house because she told you you're beautiful and you're telling me you are.
No, but he misunderstood. But when they got there, that he said you're beautiful.
Me and the husband were both shocked that a man told you are beautiful. You are accepting the compliment.
Two things are happening at the same time. The Gideons are, they're kind of they're because of the secret. Because now we know that both Mr. Gideon, they both have, so each person doesn't want to go upstairs
or something like that.
And at the same time, there's not like a unpacking going on in the guest room.
So it started from her. She was now like, oh, so Mrs. Gideon invited you here. And she had a party for two, that a hot party for two. Interesting.
And you came.
Yeah, so they're not realizing that like each person was not really that smart, and it starts conversations. So she now goes into no wonder they now start. The other night she caught her husband watching adult movies. And then he's now like, oh, you want to go there? They now start like Jade said, unpacking.
They start unpacking. Something I want to actually talk about, like in how he got into the whole adult thing, that he had never done it before. And then he did it. Like, I think one thing I really learned from it is like, especially as married people, in fact, first of all, foundationally, know who you're taking advice from. Then as a married person, it's not everybody you should listen to their advice. Like, where is it coming from? If it's going against your values, it is not right. No matter how good it might seem, it is not right. If it's going against your values and it's not even helping matters again,
to be honest,
like, don't take that advice, no matter how sweet it sounds. Some people just, I always say something, the loudest are not always the smartest.
But to be honest, easier said than done, because that's another reason why my reaction to the movie is positive, because they brought out realistic
of
things.
Of course, that's why I said it's a lesson that I'm learning, like, like, we're reacting to that scene.
Yeah, because I
like, it's his friend that introduced it to him. That's very realistic. Like, okay, you have an issue and then you want to solve
and
it,
then you share the
and you share it. It's very realistic. It's normal. Like,
not with the person, but like with another person.
The Bible even talks about how like there's wisdom when you like speak to other people, right? But who are the people? What are their values? What is their character? Has it been tested and trusted? Like, who is speaking to you?
Actually, the person, like somebody who had like there's a anyways, there's a pastor's wife who said that like your advice should really come from the word or from sound counsel, and sound counsel would refer to
the word. Yes. Because a lot of people, you think they're giving you advice, they're speaking from their pain. That's what I've noticed. A lot of people, it's not advice they're giving, they're speaking from their own painful experiences. But anyways, to that part, that was just something that I learned.
And that was a nice addition.
It was it was a nice reminder. It's not every advice you take, and like be firm in your values, because he had never done it before. So it definitely was not his own personal value.
The couples are now unpacking, and then she wanted to leave, but her husband was not like, even if their own marriage is not perfect.
That's the shades, their own marriage.
Their marriage is not perfect.
They shouldn't like ruin the idiot. That's why I also like more and more was like, okay, the reverence people.
Yes, now starts thinking about his brother, that he wonders how his brother is feeling right now, or something like that. they
then
now
that
go into a
leads,
whole rabbit hole where we now see how that's another fault
in
their marriage.
Their marriage.
This brother that is always an intruder, and
this scene we see it in the movie, right? But I just like as you said, like this movie really highlights a lot of things that can cause issues in marriages, and I think particularly young marriages that you're just trying to navigate the sift of it all. So it brings in like the whole in-law thing. Now we're seeing how interference can affect a marriage, especially a marriage that young, but I would even say even an older marriage, to be honest. I think it just so happens that this is a young marriage. But anyway, so and
I like how, sorry to interrupt, but again, just because we are reacting to this, I like how it wasn't even like, oh, she had problems with her mother-in-law, or he had problems with his father-in-law.
I was actually going to speak about that next.
But it was like just a family member, his elder brother was the issue. And also, in most movies, they will make you look like the wife is accepting rubbish, but here she actually was not even accepting rubbish.
And it reminds me of a video I saw about DDK. I was like, you would think a virtuous woman is like, oh, she does not talk, she does not say anything. That is not a virtuous woman. Like, you need to be able to speak up respectfully, though. Exactly. Yes, you need to speak up when you're not comfortable with something. It's very the movie,
like, realistic. That I'm not going to accept this rubbish.
Yes, and it's very for like a modern marriage. Like, also showing that, like, to make your marriage work does not mean you keep quiet and you take every like everything that your partner is doing that you don't like. No, you speak up about it, but it's in the how you speak about it. And okay, so like taking the lessons from the film, I think like it's one thing for the in-laws to act out of place, another thing for your spouse to not realize and act on it. And I think that was an issue in their marriage.
It was
like, for instance, newlywed, you're excited, you want to tell your partner everything, and then she's trying to talk to him. Elder brother walks in and he's like, oh, let's watch a match.
Then he did not see how his brother was an issue.
He never saw it. How, but even that, there was an unpacking there that we realized where, like, that the elder brother felt entitled to that based on their upbringing and how he sacrificed his education for his younger brother, which happens to be Mr. Shea. This scene wasn't really emphasized, but I really hope that people that are watching it can learn from that.
The scene that basically the brother had a house party and then she walks in and she's like, what is this? Because he never even told them that he was going to do a house gathering, and then she basically is like standing up like, this is my home, you can't do this. And at the end of the day, she goes to meet her husband. It's even a whole meeting,
and I think that was wrong.
Wife there, and then in her front, her husband, he still doesn't get the issue that but the only thing he will correct is that next time when you're having a party, let us know.
Let us know.
And I was like, that's not what she said.
That's not
that's not a matrimonial home. You shouldn't even be doing that. Let us know in advance or not. You shouldn't feel like you can just be throwing parties.
And it really highlights, like, just like you said earlier in the video, at least I'm Nigerian and African, and I can speak to that. It highlights the entitlement mentality that a lot of Nigerian family members have. They feel like you did not reap there. Suddenly the brother is doing well and you came in from nowhere.
Honestly, I didn't even see it from the in-laws perspective, but I did see it. I think for me, I was just like, personally, I've never envisioned I would have these issues, but I liked that they were making it a representation that because in traditional societies in Nigeria, it still exists, and we're not ignoring the fact that
that's what I'm saying. That it still exists. Also, thank you, Holy Spirit. Watching that made me remember why the Bible says, therefore a man will leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife. It really showed me why. I used to think it's harder for women to leave just because of how emotional women are or are always spoken about to be. But this movie and remembrance of that scripture allowed me to see that I think it is actually men that it is harder to, especially men that are from humble beginnings. I think it depends on the kind of man. I think men from humble beginnings, I think it's very hard to not see it in that way. Like from the first night, from the wedding day, the brother was there with them.
He don't want to leave.
They are in the bedroom. He's not knocking on the door. He's coming into the room, and then he's doing a party there. That's wrong. I don't know how the brother even saw it as like, oh, just ask for permission next time. And that's where I'm now coming from. Like, okay, two things can you can make your brother feel like another brother, right? And also this other brother, by the way, in this film is even 37, 38 or something like that. You can get a place for your brother, like, and establishing. Nobody say forget the family you came from and stuff, but also know that this is your new priority. As hard as it sounds, like your wife, your new family you're creating is your new priority. Just felt unseen, unheard. She felt left out. Seemed like everything was what made his brother comfortable, not even her. And let's remember, she was a newlywed, so those were very valid. And even if she was not a newlywed, like those feelings were very, very valid. But yeah, as we go like further along in the movie, I realized that I think they had a foundational issue of even before their marriage. I don't think they spoke about important things like navigating life with external influences, the amount of external influence. And I think this is something very important that before getting married people should talk about. So I think there was that part, but now okay, that's in the past, right? Hindsight is foresight, right? Then I now think when they now got married too, the presence of another person affected him building a relationship with her, getting to know her and understand her and taking her serious. I think it really affected. So I think that scene is really showing this is a lesson part. It's not even a reaction to the movie. That scene is really showing the importance of conversations before marriage, and in the marriage itself, why it's important that at least that first year for newlyweds, try to do it without interference, apart from like a shared couple mentor, and if you're a believer, a spiritual, leader and things like that. Like, because that part all along, because we get to a part where, in back to reacting to the movie, where he's talking about how he's not like, oh, you are serious all along. I did not know you were serious. How she was serious when you were not paying attention to your marriage, you were being distracted by other influences. So I think those two things is what stood out for me at that point.
And I realized that he didn't know the meaning of getting married. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think they had that,
because I think he had been
that
so much for a long part of his life. He had probably been a cover for his brother. He's just like just supporting him. It's like if Jade should get married now, instinctively I would support you somehow, because I know who you are, I know how you behave, I'm used to you.
That makes
even
so
though
much sense.
I have more sense, I know I will not support her actually, but it makes sense if instinctively I will support her. I think he has been used to, like he said, he the elder brother depends on brother, so he used to showing up for him, supporting him. So it came naturally when okay, between your wife and this brother for a long time, it's just instinctively supporting him.
Yes, and I would also add that truly at this point, I don't think it's that love was not their issue. And I think it really showed when people say love is not enough, and that it's not just love that sustains a marriage. Because if you notice, there was no, I don't think you love me, I don't think you love me anymore. It was not a love thing. It was really like, yes, they were not seeing eye to eye, and it was like the things that looked little that was affecting a marriage that to them they probably started on love. It's almost like they were not even, like, I think it's that beforehand they didn't have the right conversations.
Just that,
yes, they just didn't know how to complement the other. There's another thing I also want to mention, right? And the part where a lot of traditional views are affecting the modern day marriage, or if anything, even marriage from the standpoint. And as a believer, marriage should be done God's way. What is God saying about this? Because there's a part where the elder brother says teach our traditional, but this had nothing to do with tradition.
The same,
because truly by tradition he was probably right. Like, this is the brother's house, how tradition is, and he's the elder brother, so tradition, fine, maybe you are right.
No, tradition, he is right, because even tradition,
I don't really know the tradition that way
goes to the family.
And that's how you see things on Twitter that's like, oh, your wife is not your family, just just those traditional things, and how it ends up affecting. Like, if you want to make marriage work, you need to do it God's way. What is God saying? What are the principles about marriage? Not you need to teach her the tradition. So the tradition is that she should not take rubbish, and it's not affecting the marriage. I think that was something I really took that, like, for me, like, I really hope men watching this can, and obviously there's a part too where like women watching would learn their own, but please, because I know some people now like women should learn their own. We've heard that a lot, but men watching this, I hope they can really learn and see how certain traditional values affect the home, but yeah, I won't say much about that, but that part was really, and how based on that, the husband himself was not really traditional, but unconsciously was letting that external influence that was led by traditional views ruin his home. Like,
because I think also pointed out when we were watching it, how at the beginning of the movie and when she called him Brashek, are you not leaving? But now she had got to a point where she didn't even call him brother again. She was calling him
and he didn't even talk about it. I like that about the movie. I think even here at some point he knew he was disrespecting himself, but he did not care.
And meanwhile, as they continue to unpack and get into like deeper issues of their relationship, they now show us the Gideon and they're still like, she's not eating her food, and they're still acting like
they're up late in the night at this point.
Yes, as if they are hiding something. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, this movie is keeping me engaged with Shay and his wife.
Yeah, at some point I'm looking to
and I actually forgot about Gideon, but the Gideons are still here and they're cheating. Or I guess I'm just like, that's another way, like the movie was just really good. There was a part where the wife says something. They now shift to the Gideons when they are in their room, and then the wife says something. No, the husband says, "I want to tell you something," and then they now switch to Shay and his wife and like, "Tell me." I'm just like, they really ate. Shout out to the Willows. They really ate. Like when I was talking about
cinematography,
right?
Cinematography.
They really like it was like a Hollywood standard
editing, the filming,
like,
the angles, even the quality was really good. Like it was really, really good.
We now shift into like another aspect again, so that they now continue to unpack and delve deeper, and just another aspect, which is now like they now revisit. He now starts questioning her love for him. They now revisit their intimacy thing. So it was actually because of a thing that happened in her childhood with her dad mishandling her, if you understand what we're saying. So it now gets to a point where she's actually vulnerable and tells him that, and he never knew. That part for me was like, how are you just telling your husband this? I've been married for 3 months and people had been dating. Like,
no, I think in the marriage
it was really traumatic.
It was a very, very traumatic thing. Yes, very traumatic. But I think in the marriage part, I think the real question is, how hadn't they spoken about this before they got married? In the marriage, it's understandable with the things we saw, like from the beginning of the marriage, they didn't have their own space. And if you are not, trust is built. That's what I'm saying. In the marriage, I also think
I don't have anything to say.
I think I don't have anything to say. It's a very sensitive
just
thing.
To keep the movie over. There were some parts of the movie that were like, it wasn't really realistic.
I think it's realistic. I think it's realistic because it is. I think what I have to say about that, right? And this is my opinion. I'm not saying it is right or wrong. I think what I got from that part of the movie is that is where people say you need to heal before you deal. I don't think it's something she had processed and fully healed from. She had learned to grow with it, and I think it was from a place of trying to suppress it. But I don't think she had ever had to deal with it very well, because we see a scene where she's telling her mom about it and even how her mom handled it, and I remember that when we were watching it, we were like, this part also highlights where, like, they say Jesus feels pain.
The mom was not even really
and emotional. The mom was not emotional when she heard what, like, and I even thought maybe stepfather, or when the film was showing, it was not stepfather, it was her own dad, and the way the mom handled it. So in that type of environment, right, and also it's very realistic with our Nigerian culture and environment. I don't think people are taught how to, like, go through therapy. It's now that it's becoming like there's now more awareness towards that. So I think it's very real that she had not healed from it. She didn't. It made sense that something that maybe she was ashamed of. She didn't know how to talk about it. And as a Christian couple, it probably there was no reason to be intimate.
Like, they were truly realistic.
They were truly realistic.
Every time that couples are vulnerable to each other.
It's not every time, exactly. And I also think with the way the movie showed it, the way Sheyi is, I don't think it was ever like, there are some men that like, there's a way that it's easy to build trust and a bond, because vulnerability is not just I come and tell you. There has to be a trust that has been built, that I feel like I can tell this person this thing. So as much as they had love, they were both equally yoked, good believers and things like that, maybe financially compatible to everything. I don't think there was that part where like she felt safe telling him that part of her life.
Yeah, again, the movie used cliche topics, but how they approached it was not cliche.
Yes, like finally the end.
Finally,
we see why there are conflicts in relationships. Lack of like adequate communication, distraction, and dismissing of the other's feelings. Like, relationship thrives in the presence of those three, and those were like core themes that really came out from like their conversation. It was an all-night conversation and everything, and then even in distraction, do you even know that they at no point even during all their shows like, let's pray? I think our generation, I think it's also very realistic because our generation has undervalued prayer or undervalued the role.
Pray together because
distraction.
So,
but that lack of
distractions were phone, laptop,
and Shegun, the brother. Yes, but that lack of distraction, because at this point they realized that while they both came to the room, both Mr. Gideon and Mrs. Gideon respectively had taken their phones, and that's why they had time to communicate. And that like lack of all distraction that had been distracting them all through their marriage allowed them talk, and then it even made him get to this point where he realized his role as a husband, as the priest of the household, and he was able to pray, even pray for her, like the stronghold or whatever it is in her own life and in their marriage.
Yes, it was really
it was really
great
good.
movie.
So really,
just them being in the same space without like anything to interrupt the conversation. Let him actually like see her,
yes, hear her, yes,
understand where,
see the severity of everything. He even came to the realization that his brother had been like, it's so funny that she never mentioned that word, but he's the one that brought it up, that I won't let him disrespect
she was
you.
a good wife.
She tried, she really tried. They've had their they've built on friendship now. They are beginning to build on friendship, and even they on their own, they are realizing their issues. And then now they are like, they slept off, realizing it's morning and trying to leave the house and everything. As they're trying to leave the house,
this is the second attempt. It now opens up to
Mr. and Mrs. Gideon. And at that point I was confused. I didn't have any thoughts. Then when they sat down is where we realized that this was a setup all along, like
to help them,
because apparently Mr. and Mrs. Gideon were
Mr. Gideon was
Gideon,
they went to him for counseling when they were having issues.
Yes. And then I think they're like their pastors too or something. Mr. Gideon knew that, just like I said too, love was not their problem. They loved each other deeply, but they had underlying issues that needed to be fixed
by adequate
communication. And that was how they set up this plan and everything.
Force them into a place where they could actually communicate and intentionally take away their phones and stuff.
Yeah. And then in the movie it talks about how like, I didn't even know this, but that would make so much sense. How like, because in real life the Willows are marriage counselors, marriage speakers and things like that. They're in the marriage ministry. So I didn't know that like truly, but what am I thinking? That phone distraction is a big issue in relationships, but that makes so much sense. I think the part that even I got a big takeaway from is Mrs. Winlow Mrs. Gideon, in real life Mrs. Winlow, talking about how communication is an art that involves the how, where and when, which is about manner, time and place. And I think that was also a fault of Miss Stephanie, which is a fault of most women sometimes. We don't understand how to talk to men in a way they will receive it. And it's not just, oh, you have this information, you might be right in everything, and then everything you say is right, but how are you presenting it? So I think that was a fault of hers, right? I just love how it's like the simple definition of like communication is an art.
Sorry, I don't really like the title, but then my style was like, because I'm not a creative for on screen, I don't know how difficult it is.
Yeah, I'm just like loving the
like
gesture. It makes sense. Please, you guys comment in the comment down below.
Because of the title, I clicked because I knew the videos. But if I clicked
okay.
because of the, I won't have clicked. If
Okay, I think I agree that it may not be the most creative title. They could have done better. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this reaction video. We hope you loved it as much as we enjoyed filming this video for you. Let me know if you like rushed to go watch the movie after listening to this review, or like your general thoughts on everything that we said in this video. Thank you for watching. Get this video to 10,000 views.
10,000 views.
10,000 views. Don't forget to like, share with everybody. And the movie itself, it's not just a movie, it's a lesson packed movie. So
yeah, find time to
find time,
like make the whole thing.
Yes, if you are single and you desire marriage, I will highly encourage you watch the movie. And if you are already married, I would also encourage you watch the movie. I mean, I'm not married yet, so I might advise you, but I will say I think it will help you. I think it will help you. Thanks for watching, and see you in my next one. Bye.
You think there's a problem with your neck? These are bloopers. Like, yo, it's been how many? Like, honestly,
an hour.
I hope this video gets to 10,000 views.
You're so insensitive, Shay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Now let's settle it. You win. You are the winner. Oh, my winner, baby.
Hey. You're so insensitive. Leave the road for me.